And now we're live. After I went into, I don't know if it's OBS's problem or YouTube's problem, but but we are officially live.
Well, let's see. I better tweet about that. That's where people find out about their podcast. All right, let's see. I don't even know how this works anymore. They updated TweetDeck, so
TweetDeck is garbage. The new version's garbage, dude.
I can't. I'm like all lost.
It's garbage. It's not your fault, dude. It is just garbage.
Manage decks. Is that like logging in someone different?
Shit.
No, it's not. I got to log out and then log in. I don't know.
It's the worst. Twitter bought TweetDeck, and it's all garbage now.
All right, I think I got this.
Straight garbage. All
right.
Scarred. Yo, testing my microphone. Sounds great. Sounds great, looks great. And you look great too, Jeremy.
Oh, thank you. You look great.
Thanks, bud. Bury my hand.
Okay.
So baby.
And then switch that over. And
you know what vinyl I finally bought?
What'd you get?
Scott Pilgrim versus the World. Did I tell you that?
No, that's a good one.
It is a good one.
That's a good one. I have one or maybe two of Anna Monoguchi's sort of like not, they're just their regular albums. And I thought about the other ones because I think some of that Scott Pilgrim stuff is on some of their other just regular releases.
Oh yeah.
But I have not. But I tell you what, I have pretty much given up my. Well, not completely. I am not sticking only to video game music, but I bought the complete Magic Sword discography. If you're familiar with that band, they do Magic Sword. Yeah, Magic Sword.
Nope.
Yep, they're pretty good. And I just bought everything they did.
I actually got a few vinyl recently. I bought the Ninja Turtles movie soundtrack.
Oh, I totally forgot about that. I wonder if it's still available.
It probably is. It's on Waxworks, I think.
Yeah, I was looking at that, and I was like, do I want that? And I even listened to the soundtrack on YouTube, and I was like, yeah, it's pretty good. Like,
yeah, it's pretty good. You're right.
Down.
It's sold out. Ninja Turtles 2 is still available.
Really? I'll pick it up on the aftermarket somewhere, maybe.
I was thinking about getting the second one as well, just to have
like the day of. Yeah, the day of. And there's the third one. I was like, I don't know if I'm going to get one of them. Am I going to get the second one? If I get the two of them, I can't not get the third one.
Yeah, the third, like the art on the cover is like by the same artist, it looks like. So it all
looks really cool.
Yeah.
But I didn't. And, it's probably fine. I didn't need to get it, but maybe
I didn't need it either. And when that's the thing is like I'm deciding what to do with it. I haven't opened it yet.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Hey, I have a question for you. Your limited edition Supergiant Songs of Supergiant games that you got. I'm sure you got that. Yeah. What number did you get out of 1,000? Did you ever look?
I don't know. No, I did look. I mean, I don't remember. I don't think it was a good number.
Mine was like 90 something. It seems like a pretty good one.
That's really good. Yeah, if you can get below 100, that's pretty good. They actually sent me. You
got two of them. I remember you told me.
I did get two, and I sent it back. And I was hoping they were going to be like, "Oh no, that's cool," but they were like, "Oh, you're a really good guy," and I was like, "Shoot." No,
well, but it's the honest thing to do.
I know. It's good that I did it. I did get the regular edition and the deluxe edition, and you can't tell the difference. I mean, one of them is you're supposed to play at 45 RPMs, like it's higher fidelity, and I'm like, I played it once and I couldn't tell.
So you did. So you got one of each then, huh?
Yeah, I did. I still have one of each, and it's all right. It's fine. I don't think that if you got the regular one that you're missing out on the deluxe one. I was really curious to see, like, oh, can you really tell? Like my ears were just going to be like, golden. I didn't know what was going to happen.
Maybe if you were like, a young lad that didn't have ear hearing problems like I do now.
Yeah, and I do too.
A really good pair of headphones, you probably could tell.
Well, that's the thing. That's one reason why I'm not an audiophile is my ears ring all the time. So I am the weak link in the whole, audio fidelity chain. So
I am probably also there. And I think it's from listening to loud music and I haven't been to a ton of concerts. My dad lost his hearing from like guns, like
wow.
hunting and things like that. You know,
wow.
always being around guns and never wearing protection.
Yeah.
And I was around that a little bit when I was younger, but now when I go shooting, I wear protection or whatever. But I think it has to do with loud music. I went to a few. It's not like I frequent concerts all the time. It's got to be music. It has to be music, like loud music in the headphones.
I mean, it could just happen also on its own? Question mark? Maybe.
Well, they say that when you hear like a ringing, that's because you lost the frequency or like a little something.
I did find out what my frequency was. It's like 16,000 hertz or something like that.
The ringing that you hear, really?
Yeah. There's a website you can go to, and it actually hurts to use the website because it's like playing all these different tones. And it's like, which one sounds the best? And you're like,
which one sounds like what you hear all day long?
Yes, exactly right. So I found out it was like 16,000 hertz or something like that. It was real high.
All right, here's the real question for you. When are CDs going to come back in style?
I don't know. It's going to take a special kind of lesser nerd to really want those. Because the thing about them is, they'll decay. Like right now, CDs that came out in the late 90s and stuff, you can go to them and they don't work anymore.
Oh, really? I didn't know
that. The foil or whatever's inside there, it'll decay. Yep. I mean, you could. It's sort of a crapshoot. Like it might work, but it might not.
Huh. I've got like a binder full of CDs somewhere. I should probably try them out.
Yeah, I have some too. They might work fine, but I mean, especially data CDs where you're trying to play software and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
That might potentially have some trouble. I think we're good. I don't think I've got anything else here that'll. Forspoken. Gary Whitta wrote Forspoken, and they changed the whole story. Yeah, I'll put that in there. That's fine. That's a good speedrun item.
Oh, Light in the Attic. Sold out. eBay? House 1 and 2 vinyl soundtracks. Movie soundtracks.
House what?
Don't you remember the House movies? Starring, God, who's that guy? The guy who's played the Great American Hero.
Really? I do not know it.
You've never seen House?
Oh, I don't think so. I don't think I've even heard of
William Catt. William Catt.
What is it? Cool or like?
It's a nostalgia for me, and the music is actually really good.
Huh.
The first one was really good. The second one was a little bit cheesier. But still, like, it's a movie from my childhood that I watched over and over and over again.
Interesting.
And then I met the actor at a Comic-Con and had him sign a picture for my dad.
Really?
Yeah.
That's fun.
I went up and talked to the guy, and he was the Great American Hero. You remember that show, The Great American Hero?
Yeah, sure I do. Yeah, that I do remember.
Anyway, so all of his pictures to sign were from that. And then he had like one print of House, and I'm like, dude, I want you to sign that House picture. House. I'm like, let's talk about House, bro. And he's like, what? Like, nobody ever wants to talk about House. I'm like, bro, let's talk about House. It was also the same Comic-Con that the guy from The Last Dragon. Did you ever watch that show?
The Last Dragon.
With Bruce Leroy. His name is, oh god damn it, what is his name? Timok is his name. He goes by a single word now.
Timok? He sounds like something from an episode of Star Trek: The Next Generation.
Oh yeah, and his Bruce Leroy Green. He goes by Bruce Leroy because he's all about. Anyway, it was a movie that was produced by like Motown or some like old.
The Last Dragon. You know what I saw today? I saw that there was some crap spin-off movie on Netflix or Amazon or something called Enter the Fat Dragon, and I guess it's like Enter the Dragon except the guy's overweight.
Ah, cool.
Or something. I guess that's what makes a funny movie. I don't know.
Let's see.
I'm definitely watching it though.
Bruce Leroy. Show enough.
Oh, Payday is getting.
Did you ever watch the British comedy Red Dwarf?
Sort of. When it was on, I didn't seek it out, but.
Did you know that they released a movie 3 years ago?
No.
Yeah, there's like a recent movie.
That's weird.
3 years ago. Yeah,
it's weird that it wouldn't have been more well circulated.
Well, you know.
I feel like nerds would have talked about it.
I mean, yeah. Well, one of my buddies on Facebook like posted a clip from an old Red Dwarf show, and I'm like, God damn, I remember that show. So I looked it all up, and I'm like, wow, they made a movie like a year ago or 3 years ago. 2020 it came out. So I looked it up, and you can watch it for free on some streaming service. I started watching it. I'm like, yeah, I don't want to watch this right now. So I looked up some old clips and watched those instead.
Yeah, I think that's a good decision.
Yeah. All right, we ready for this?
I think we're ready.
Okay, I'm gonna stop recording and restart.
All right, yeah, this 7 minutes of gold. I don't need it.
All right,
recording.
Also recording. Let's clap or something. 1, 2, 3. Beauty.
The clap was so good I didn't even hear it.
Let me get my lighting right. Ooh, no? Huh?
That's probably better.
Cool. No.
No.
Too
white. Yeah, that one turned better. How many options do you have?
There we go.
Are we just looking at the same 3?
No, we got 3 colors and then dimness.
Oh, and then the different. Yeah, okay.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Game by Show podcast. It is February the 20th, 2023. Wow. Guys, here we are. It's just me and Jeremy, though.
No, that's good. It's very cozy for St. Valentine's Day.
It's true. St. Valentine's Day was exactly 1 week ago. No? Almost. Tomorrow.
That's right. Sorry to report to some of you dudes out there who were not paying attention. Whoops.
Yeah, I'm always bad at Valentine's. Well, I'm not. I'm okay at it. I'm okay at Valentine's Day. Depends on it depends.
It is a skill rather than an observation.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So what's new, man?
Well, for me, like here's a little special something from my life. I have to replace my roof.
We were talking about that the other day, I think.
Really? Maybe we did, maybe on the Discord or something. But
that's rough, man.
Yeah. So here's the funny thing. So last year, I was looking at that solar panel lifestyle, and actually I had 2 different companies come in. I had one company, because they'll leave flyers and stuff. And finally, I was like, all right, you guys, all right, come talk to me about solar. And they did, and I was like, yeah. And I'll tell you, here's the thing on solar, because I know some people want to know. It's not like wow, and it's not terrible. It's all right. It's all right. It's all right. It's a decent long-term bulwark against steadily increasing energy costs. So in that sense, it's fine. But you're going to pay probably a little more than your least expensive electricity bill, throughout the year, and it's going to be less expensive than your most expensive electricity bill. So it's like it's the middlest of all realities.
I'm on the equal payment plan for power.
Yeah, that's kind of it's something like that, it just sort of evens out your bill, and it's a little more than it would have been. But once it's paid off, then no worries. So
I was crunching the numbers on it. So there's a couple things with solar. I'm gonna let you finish.
Yeah.
But I was crunching the numbers last time I had a guy in to talk to me about it, and I determined that based on his numbers that he gave me, I put it into a spreadsheet and did a bunch of math to it and figured out that I wouldn't actually start like saving money for like 15 or 17 years or something stupid. Like the only reason to get it would be to save the environment, which is not a bad reason to get it, I guess. Or to have like the battery backup that you can have or whatever. But
the way it sort of works is it just evens out because when it's July and August and your air conditioning bill is like 150, 160, 80.
Oh. Yeah, you got a small house, bro. Like, my house is insane.
Yeah. So that's what it does. Is it evens that high stuff down, and and basically that's it. But you're still paying on the thing while you're making payments for it. So it's fine. Like it's fine.
Yeah, I mathed it out. The guy was like, energy costs are going to increase at this rate. Here's what we can get you this thing for. Therefore, your monthly payment is going to be this, which is higher than what you pay right now.
Right.
And I took my numbers and I mathed it all out.
And that's it. And the thing is that it's like the frogs are boiling in their own juice. So by the time you're like, oh wow, energy is more expensive than it was when I checked this thing last. It's like 10 years too late. And you're like, I wish I'd have done this 10 years ago. But 10 years ago, it didn't seem like such a great proposition. It's one of those things. So yeah. I had a company come in and they're like, okay, we'll do it. And I had made peace with it. I'm like, okay, let's go. And then they're like, actually, we can't do it. Your roof is made of metal. Because I have metal shingles. I have like a actual metal roof. And they're like, sorry. And I was like, ugh. Like I had steeled my, I had gotten all ready.
They didn't notice when they looked at your roof from
outside? They were like, oh, I think we can do it or whatever. No, I told them. And I'm like, oh yeah, it's made of this and whatever. I mean, they got to figure that stuff out. But then they're like, we can't do it. So then I was like, all right, fine. So then a couple months later, someone else, knocks on the door. And I was like, well, the last company to come in, they said they couldn't do it. So, and they're like, oh, no, we can do it. So I was like, okay, all right, come on in, let's figure it out. And they're like, oh, we got a better deal than those guys. I'm like, okay, fine. And I'm like, okay, I still got a metal roof. And they're like, oh yeah. And so we went through the whole thing, and then they gave me the quote, and it was like $15,000 more than we had talked about. And I said, well, what's up with this? And they're like, oh, we got to redo your roof. It's made of metal. We can't do it. So
that's the best right there.
I talked to the guy, and he's like, yeah, if you don't have to replace your roof, it's fine. It's just, well, come to find out, 8 months later, I got to replace my roof. So
you got to do it anyways.
Yeah. So I went back to them and I'm probably going to, I can't not. So, it's leaking. So I gotta, and nobody makes metal roofs anymore. Apparently, like one manufacturer doesn't, it's not compatible or some baloney like that. So anyway, so we'll see how my video game budget's doing here in, 7-8 weeks.
So that company's going to replace your roof and put solar on at the same time?
Yeah, the roof, they contracted out, but they sort of coordinate it together and make sure that it's all up to spec and that everything's going to be fine. But they also, I guess the credit is better, like the tax break is better this year than it was last year. And usually they're like, oh, no, it's going to be worse. You better do it now. But it's actually better now.
They always say that every single time.
I know. Yeah. So this year I'm actually getting, the rates are a little bit higher because rates have just been going up, interest rates and things. But it turns out that it's better anyway. And they'll also give you a break if you pay them in cash, which means I can go to my bank and get a loan from them instead and save about $7,000.
Well, that's not bad.
And yeah, and apparently there's an extra tax credit or incentive if you're doing your roof and the solar together. So I get 30%, I guess, of the whole spend. I don't know. That the government just mails to you, which is good because, hey, in other Jeremy news, I'm paying on my taxes again. I owe money again this year. It sucks. Yeah,
I just did mine and I'm getting a lot back. Sorry.
Really? See, I last year was the first year that I paid, and I think they changed withholdings or something how they do it, and so I owed a little bit last year. I owe more this year.
That's crazy. So I don't understand. Yeah. I don't understand. I guess I've never had that problem. I don't know why.
I never had that problem either, and then I was like, well, maybe it's a fluke, and now I owe more. So I don't know. It'll be fine, but I'll be getting some kind of incentive for spending, $35 some odd thousand. So anyway, that is what's going on in my life. It has nothing to do with video games, but I'm, learning math.
Hey, we're all old men here. We all have to deal with it at some
point.
That's
true.
Taxes and replacing roofs. That's the thing is, as soon as my roof is getting ready to need to be replaced, I'm just going to throw the house away and move.
You just burn it down.
I'm just going to move and get a new house.
That's about how it is.
Just not going to deal with it.
Yeah, although they say, so they'll warranty the work and the shingle, the roofing and everything for 25 years, which is sort of standard. But I guess shingles now have lifetime warranties? Question mark? Okay. I don't know. So I'm like, all right, well, whatever.
I have no idea. I'm not going to be in this house for 25. I hope I'm not in this house for 25 years. Maybe I will be. I don't know.
I'm not planning on going anywhere. So
yeah, I want to downsize. That's what I want. As soon as the kids are gone, I'm gonna get an RV and I'm gonna go live in the mountains.
Really? You know what? I've learned about RVs a little bit over this year too. RVs are just like a high maintenance house.
Oh yeah, and they're expensive as hell too.
Yeah.
You can go buck wild.
And you got to worry about all the fluids and where they're going, and did it drain or did this line go to that line or whatever. And
yeah.
It's like all the work you have to do to get a boat ship shape. It's like you do that in your house every time you pick up and move. So,
yeah.
Anyway, not to try and talk you out of it, but
I don't care. Doing it anyways.
Nice.
I just want to live off the grid. My wife's not going to be down with it. So
honestly,
I've got some convincing to do in the next 10 years. But
I've used Starlink in the last year. Starlink works great. So
one of my employees uses it because one of my employees lives in the Ukraine and he uses Starlink.
Yeah, Starlink works. It's good. I mean,
he has to like boot it up. He has to boot it up every morning. It takes like 30 minutes or something to connect.
I tried to figure it out too. You can log into like a diagnostic screen, and I was trying to figure out like where do the like how does it work? And they have this whole complicated thing. It looks like a 1980. It looks like War Games or something from like the 1980s, and it's
Matthew
like
Broderick.
I don't know how to yeah, exactly. And I don't know how to figure any of it out, but it mostly 90% of the time it works every time.
Oh, nice. Okay, yeah. Yeah, sometimes my guy will say like, "Oh, I'm booting up my internet, and it takes like 30 minutes or something to connect." Sometimes.
I don't know. The satellites have to find you or something.
I don't know, man. I think the concept is really cool, though.
Yeah. Well, there we've got the mood that we want for the show. So Starlink and infrastructure.
All right. Well, I'm gonna start off the game talk with a quick one and then a long one. Is that okay?
Okay, that's fine.
You okay with that?
Yeah.
I've been playing Spirit Tracks, Legend of Zelda Spirit Tracks on the DS.
That's the only one that I didn't really get or ever try.
Neither did I until now.
Okay.
And
did you find a copy, or are you? Well, actually, I don't want to know.
I'm playing the game. That's all that you need to know.
Yeah, that's all right. Fair enough.
And man, I really like 2D Zeldas way better than 3D Zeldas. So we're talking Link Between Worlds and Link to the Past and Zelda 1
and this was the one that came right out after Phantom Hourglass. So it's sort of like that top down, but also sort of made of 3D kind of.
Yeah, so it's a 2D. I mean, there's verticality like there was in Super Castle or Super Zelda or whatever it's called, Super Nintendo Zelda, Link to the Past.
Yeah. Levels of terrain,
Yeah. The problem is that you have to control the character Link with the stylus. So you touch on the screen and he moves with the screen, and you swipe and you have to so it can do some cool things where you can draw like the route for your boomerang to go. So you like pick up fire, and there's puzzles, you take it to a lantern or whatever.
Right.
And so there's lots of like neat little things they can do with the stylus, but ultimately like running around with the stylus is like the worst. It should have been a combination of both. It should have been where you move normally with the D-pad, and then when you need to use the stylus to do things on the touchscreen, then you do so. Like you can like take notes on the map. There's like little neat things you can do, just like in Phantom Hourglass. But it just sucks that the movement model is so bad with the stylus, and it really pisses me off because I really want to keep playing it. It's just I don't like playing it. I mean, it feels cool. I like the train stuff is neat. Like the whole world is kind of cool. And
because Phantom Hourglass was about the sailing, and you could sail, you could like chart your map and stuff like that. But with the Spirit Tracks, you're like on a rail. So I was always curious, like, is it fun to be on a train? Like,
it's kind of fun. Maybe. It's kind of cool. Yeah, I mean, if you're into trains, like, I think most dudes like secretly want to drive a train someday.
Someday.
Yeah, and this is kind of so while you're on a track, there is multiple paths, and you kind of draw your path that you want to take. And there's enemies that will pop up that you have to like shoot. So it's like an on-rail shooter in a way in some cases. And then there's bad trains that chase after you as well that you gotta shoot. And if they hit you, then you're dead, and you have to like start back from where you disembarked from. And then you stop at train stations, and then you hop off, and you run around in like an overworld, run around in the map, and then you get back on the train and you go to the next place. And there's dungeons.
It's probably fine, but this seems like one of those things where it's like, do you remember that time when we were really into trains in Hyrule?
Yeah. It's like I mean, to some degree, it's like no different than Wind Waker, where you're just like, oh, I'm going to go from point A to point B, and I'm just going to sail there. And now it's just nice. I'm on the sailboat, and here we go. And there's some bad guys I'm going to have to shoot as I drive. It's the same type of thing, except for you are on a rail, so you're not like driving around, like you would in a boat. Yeah. But you're still driving from point A to point B, getting off, doing some stuff, getting back on, and driving to the next place. So it's kind of similar in that way.
Do you have a gun on your train?
Yeah, you got a cannon, dude.
That's good. Okay. All right, I'm in.
So you'll get in like the snowland, like these snowmen will pop up and throw their heads at you, and you got to shoot them with your snowball. There's a bunch of mini games. Like it's a good one of those. It's just is hindered by the control with the stylus, and it kind of pisses me off.
Yeah,
so
that doesn't really bother me that much, but I get you.
Yeah, if you're patient enough with it, I think it's okay. If you're not patient with it and you feel like you're fighting the controls,
it could be a game breaker. Yeah,
it's gonna be. And that's kind of how I feel. Like when I first started, I'm like, well, you know what? I'm gonna get through this game. I'm kind of having fun. This is okay, and I'm kind of was being patient. And I got to some boss fights that required some more precise movement, and I had to dodge some things. And all of a sudden, the lack of good control was more apparent. And anyway, it'll probably be my lay in bed game for a while. Like that's what where I've been playing it mostly, is kind of just laying in bed or whatever. Anyway, I also picked up Harry Potter the game. This is I can't remember what it's called.
Hogwarts Legacy?
Yes.
Oh, okay, cool.
Picked that up, and I'm going to play the game that Dale played the other day, because I think most people kind of understand what this game is. It's Harry Potter the game.
Yep.
Set 100 years or so before the events of Harry Potter.
Yep.
The books and movies. And I'm going to let you ask me questions about it, and I will answer you. Are you interested in the game? Are you interested in the game? Do you have enough questions that you would want to ask to know about it?
Absolutely. I always I can come up with questions right on the fly. I'm always interested.
All right.
So the first question that I have is this Harry Potter Grand Theft Auto?
No.
No, okay. Maybe I should stop. Maybe I should not ask yes/no questions. How is this, or is this not like Harry Potter Grand Theft Auto?
It's an open world game, but you're not stealing cars, and there's not like little. I mean, the formula of Grand Theft Auto was very like, oh, here's a map, and here's this dude that you're going to do quests with over and over again, right? And you're going to go through him, and he's got a little storyline. And then here's another guy that pops up on your map.
You'll get an adjacent dude, and he'll give you quests.
It's not like that.
No, okay.
No, it is more like an open world centered around like Hogwarts and Hogsmeade.
Is it like a single player MMO? It's like a
no. It's like an open world
like a Dragon
action
Age
RPG
kind of. Okay.
It's like a Assassin's Creed, except for you are fighting with wands. How about that?
Okay. All right. Okay. So then. I mean, Assassin's Creed.
And there's no climbing, but there is flying eventually. I haven't gotten my broom yet, but eventually you can fly around the world. But there's bandit camps to go and kill bad guys in. There's the castle is extremely detailed. The Hogwarts castle is extremely detailed and like amazingly. Like I'm talking.
Yeah.
Like, you remember when you played Assassin's Creed Unity, and you're like, oh my god, like I'm here I am in Paris, and oh my, there's the Louvre, I've been there. And
right.
And you kind of know the layout because it's just so well realized. And same with like playing Spider-Man. Like I've been to here's Times Square, and here's Chrysler Building, and here's Battery Park, and here's
And the movies. So this is clearly from. I mean, it's from the movie license. I mean, there's only one license. There's not like a book and movie.
Yeah.
And they've had to sort of triangulate the sort of the layout and the look from all of these movies, because even in the movies there wasn't ever like the grand tour. You would be like, oh, here's the Whomping Willow, and
now they're in this place, and
exactly. Yeah.
It is incredibly, and I think that is the most impressive part about the game up to this point is just the world itself is just such a very as well as you could recreate Harry Potter in video game form. This is it, like hands down. Like it feels like the movie would.
Have you ever played any of the like the 3 generations back, the PlayStation 1 Harry Potter? No.
And I wasn't really. I mean, I to give a background, like I liked Harry Potter. I read all the books. I watched the movies. Fine, they're fine. I'm not like some diehard.
But you're not a super fan.
I haven't been to Universal Studios Harry Potter Land. I haven't been to any of that.
Don't know what butterbeer tastes like.
I don't know what butterbeer tastes like. I don't know that. But I mean, when this started getting a lot of reviews and a lot of good reviews, and people were like, well, if you're a Harry Potter fan, this is a no-brainer. And it's still a very good game, even if you're not a Harry Potter fan.
Yeah, sure.
And that's what one of these guys that I watch on Twitch every once in a while, he was a big Elden Ring streamer. And he said that this is the first game since Elden Ring that's got his attention like this hard. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm tangentially interested in Harry Potter. Like, whatever, it's fine. But I'm also interested in good games. And anyway, so I picked it up. But yeah, like the world itself is like Hogsmeade, like the little city where they go, the little town where they go to get their butterbeer and run around. Like that is very, very cool. There's shops there and lots of stuff to do. And so there's lots of like little activities to do all over the world. And the world is, and the characters are very well done. The voice acting is extremely well done, especially like the main characters and the teachers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
All very well done.
That was going to be one of my questions, is about the production value of the thing, because it looks awesome. Now,
it is top tier.
Studio that made it is our local team here, owned by WB, formerly Disney.
Avalanche course.
And now they are working for like one of their biggest competitors.
I think that this game is probably the game they started on after they were acquired by WB. I would imagine they've been doing this game for a while. Like, you know what I mean?
So sorry,
anyway,
go ahead.
No, carry on. No,
I was gonna say, because as far as production value, so voice acting you've talked about. I mean, animation and stuff that I've seen just graphically looked awesome. I see a lot of people doing screenshots of big vistas, and it takes place like canonically. Hogwarts is somewhere in the area of like Highland Scotland, something like that. So there's a lot of like rocks and craggy things and shaggy goats and stuff like that. And the music. So you and I were kind of talking a little bit about the music, which was released on vinyl by Mondo. And I can't remember who it is. A couple of guys, three dudes working on this, and it sounds. There is a certain. So for a long time, I just want to draw a comparison here. For a long time, Star Wars games, if you had music in Star Wars games, it was like, well, we just took this from the movie, and that's the music for this, and you can tell like 1-to-1 where it goes. As time has gone on, though, the guy who's doing the music right now for Star Wars games, Star Wars Battlefront 2 and Jedi Fallen Order, and probably also Jedi Survivor, is a guy named Gordy Hobb. And he is like advancing the timeline on Star Wars music in the best way. Like it sounds exactly like Star Wars should sound, but it's not John Williams. And it's like, hey, we are moving forward with music. It's not just remixing the same old music. And I get that same sense from this. Like it's like the music that but it's
I don't recognize. Really, I mean, the Harry Potter theme. Like I couldn't sing it right now, but if I heard it, I immediately know what it was. Yeah, there you go. Okay, so you know it. So I get that exact same feeling, like where it's not just recreations, but it's like new stuff, but in the exact same style as what you would expect.
Just like it should.
It's what you would expect from a new Harry Potter soundtrack, I guess.
So production value overall then sounds amazing.
Incredible. Yeah, it's something else. It's just running around the castle. Like I'm playing on the PS5 and I cranked up the fidelity with the ray tracing, so it's running at whatever at a super low frame rate, 30 frames or something. But the ray tracing effects are all really, really cool. Wow. Like lots of cool reflections in the light and the windows and the
and you want that with like your glowy spells and stuff. Like you want that.
It's just that the gameplay when you get into combat kind of sucks when you don't have higher frame rates, but it's serviceable. So yeah, it looks amazing. Like and that's kind of what drew me to it, is the fact that we're to the point now with video games where they could actually make, this game or make New York City for Spider-Man or make, that type of stuff. So, anyway, any more questions? It's good.
One more question. So you gave me 3 questions. Here's my 3rd question. I want to know about the combat. I want to know if it's as good as it in the trailers, like going up to it. It was like switching back and forth, like you're confundoing people and lifting them up and smashing them down and throwing rocks at them and poisoning people. And have you Avada Kedavra anybody yet? Like, how's that all?
So I'm playing on the PS5, and I will say that it does use the adaptive triggers to great effect. It also uses the speaker in the controller, which is a thing that only PlayStation has at this point.
Right.
They had it on the Wii, then they got rid of it, and now it's on the PS5. And
it has a microphone too, microphone and speaker now.
Yeah. So whenever you cast a spell, the sound of the spell comes out of the controller. So the telltale sound of like when you cast your flashlight spell, Lumos, right? Lumos. And it's like like whistles or something, like like that all comes from this, and it's the exact same sound, and it all comes from your controller, which is very cool.
That's fun. That seems like the platform to play it on.
Oh yeah, 100%. And the other thing with the combat is, so it uses the triggers, so the right trigger, left trigger, or right trigger, I guess, is the only one that it uses. You can dodge around with circle, like you would expect. Triangle is a default Protego or whatever the spell's called.
Yeah, the shield spell.
It creates a shield. So whenever you see like the little somebody's going to shoot something at you or somebody's going to hit you, you hit that and you can counter them with that. But what it does is you can basically assign 4 spells to one spell to each of your 4 face buttons. So your triangle, square, circle, and X. And then when you just tap on your trigger, in classic PS5 fashion with the the resistance or whatever, there's like a halfway down when you hit that resistance, and if you just tap it down to that point, then you cast a normal just a normal spell. There's not really a name for it. It's just like a
zappy.
Yeah, it's like when they're sitting there and they're in Harry Potter movies when they're just kind of throwing spells and they're not really throwing anything special, just like slinging whatever, like a So it's kind of like that. And so that's like your main bread and butter. But then if you hold down the button all the way, you can hit one of the face buttons and that'll cast like a, you know, Incendio or whatever spell that Harry Potter has, right? And so then the enemies will all can bring up they'll bring up a shield of a certain color. So every spell that you have has a certain color to it. And I don't know how it's all linked together, but Incendio's red. And so if somebody has a red shield over them, you can use Incendio to break their shield and stun them. And then you beat the crap out of them. You lift them up in the air. You fire a bunch of bolts. You kind of combo all of these spells together. And they all have kind of like a cooldown, but you can, you know, shoot somebody up, you know, throw some guy up in the air with Levioso, hit him with a bunch of attacks, and then Osseo bring him to you, hit him with a bunch more attacks, hit him with a fireball, and then make
so
this big old combo.
Dudes.
Oh yeah, they're all up in the air. That's like the name of the game, is to get a dude in the air and then just hit him with a bunch of spells. So I haven't unlocked like a ton of really cool stuff. Like I haven't unlocked, you know, I've unlocked maybe, I don't know, 6 spells or so, but you can kind of mix and match. So you kind of like will find your build and put stuff into the spells that you want to. But again, you have access to 4 at any given time. It's really easy to just hit the right on the D-pad and you can just slot new spells really quickly. I believe it pauses combat too. So if you needed to pause and switch out in the middle of combat, it would be easy to do that. So yeah, combat's really good. I kind of suck at it, not gonna lie. Just because sometimes you'll come up against a group of enemies and they all have different colors of shields on. And so you have to make sure that you're attacking the right one with the right spell in order to break the shield. And I'm kind of bad at it so far. But I haven't done a whole lot of combat yet. I'm probably maybe 4 hours into the game is all. Right. So I haven't done a ton of the combat, but it seems pretty cool so far. I just hope to have more of it. And I'm sure there'll be plenty of it down the line. But
Right. Well, that sounds like a lot of fun. It is definitely on my list. It's probably the next big purchase that I'm going to make. But I've still got to finish God of War Ragnarok, so I've been playing a little bit of that. And
I have that. I have Red Dead Redemption 2. I've got this now, and I want to play Horizon Forbidden West, but I can wait on that. It's fine. I waited this long. I can wait a little bit more. So anyway, it's good. I would recommend it to anybody, controversy aside. And just to address that, I suppose, with it's been the big thing on the internet or whatever, that people, J.K. Rowling doesn't like trans people, etc. From my perspective, my opinion is that this game is Harry Potter, and this game especially is a lot bigger than J.K. Rowling, as much as, you know, she might, you know, have views that you don't agree with. In the game, however, when you do create characters, you can create trans characters. You can pick your body type, your voice, and all that can be mixed and matched. You can also choose which dorm you want to be in. You want to be in the girls' dorm or the boys' dorm. So and again, in the game, there's no, you know, you're all teenagers. So there's nothing that's like inherently sexual about the game. But there is complete freedom. Like you kind of wouldn't expect that. And I also came across a character which I believe is a trans character in the game.
Yeah, the bartender.
Yeah, the bartender. That's what. And I didn't know that, but it seemed like, okay, I think this character might be trans, mostly because she had a very deep voice, like a male, but was clearly a she. So I'm like, okay. Anyway, so that being said, a lot of people are like, oh, we hate this game. We're going to boycott it because J.K. Rowling sucks, and we don't agree with her views from the trans community and things like that. But from my perspective, the game seems to be very open towards accepting of trans people and LGBTQ in general. So that's kind of the way that I looked at it. And from my perspective, I would imagine that, you know, the team itself, there's a lot of people that are involved in this game. And it doesn't just go for J.K. Rowling. You know, a lot of people worked hard on the game. And I can support them as much as I can not support J.K. Rowling because I don't agree with her views about trans people. But there you go.
Very good. This week I went a much more low fidelity in my video game playing. We actually didn't put this in the news outline, but Nintendo had a direct, with a bunch of announcements specifically for things coming out in the immediate future. And one of the things that they announced was that they were expanding their Switch Online library. So for a long time, they've had NES games, SNES games, N64 and Sega Genesis games were sort of locked behind their online plus or
expansion pack
thing, and
that also
so
included the Mario Kart stuff, though, right? Like, it included a bunch of things. Right?
Well, I mean, on those platforms. Oh yeah, the expansion pack did, the extra tracks and things for, so they've tried to kind of make it value added a little bit. I'm still not doing it, but they announced at this Nintendo Direct that they were going to add a couple more platforms to the service, one of which is the original Game Boy, and then behind the expansion pack were Game Boy Advance games. And I did not play the Game Boy Advance because I don't have that stuff, but they just as a quick note, a couple of really great games on the Game Boy Advance. Legend of Zelda Minish Cap is really awesome. Mario & Luigi Superstar Saga, one of my all-time favorites. Mario Kart Super Circuit, still hard to play. It's not very fun. WarioWare, the original, is fine. And then Super Mario Advance 4, Super Mario Brothers 3, still super confusing. Maybe worthwhile, and maybe in aggregate. The thing is, you're never going to play all of them, and you're not really going to get your money's worth out of it anyway, so whatever. Which is also the name of the game for the Game Boy proper that they put on there. And so I was just going to run through really quickly the games that are in that service because I tried them out, and I'll just talk in general about kind of how this is. First of all, I do want to mention that I had talked about at least one or two games on the 3DS when the eShop included individual per purchase Game Boy games that you could play on the 3DS at the time. And the same benefits that I mentioned there, which were the biggest benefits, namely, number one, the number one thing that I think is really cool about this is you can actually see what's going on. The Game Boy, original Game Boy, was all the green, with black, and it didn't have really good contrast. So as things moved around,
there was a contrast dial. Remember that? You had to
and it wasn't even just the contrast, but it was that when your pixels moved, like it would take an extra second for them to fade. It was ghosty all over, so it was really hard to see stuff. Here on the Nintendo Switch, everything is absolutely clear. You can see it really well. And I think that's great. It's just wonderful to be able to see really clearly what's going on. The other thing that is actually really kind of cool, and this is both for the Game Boy and for the Game Boy Advance, one thing that nobody ever did was to use that link cable to actually play multiplayer games. They've included that on this. So now you can actually play multiplayer games online through the Nintendo Switch, which I think is really actually cool. Again, are you actually going to sit down with someone and play? Maybe once, you might do it once just to see what it's like. But I just like the fact that they would allow that as a thing, because that's an experience that I never had on any of those portable platforms. So those are kind of the good things. The other thing, of course, is that with all of these, the save states thing is still in play, which is awesome, and I think that's wonderful. Game Boy games are not super generous with saves. And then of course you can also not only do save states, but you can actually rewind at any point. So if you take a bad step, just like squeeze the triggers and you can frame by frame and go back.
Did you play Metroid 2 at all?
Yep.
That game sucked on Game Boy.
The main thing I think that was hard about it is that the Samus sprite is so big. It's kind of just hard. You don't have a lot of peripheral vision to see what's going on.
And there's no map.
But and there's no map. But the levels aren't super complicated, and the music is really good. Music has always been really good on that, and it's not super complex, So I don't think that it's really too bad as far as the maps, like getting around. Like you can sort of figure it out. But the thing is that as you jump, you can see, just like a few feet in front of you in sort of game space. So you're always just you're always surprised by whatever's going to be in front of you, which is not awesome, but it's fine. It's all right. Also, that game is the only one I did not, play through all of these to the end, but that game is the one that goes through the entire life cycle of the Metroid, which I think is just wonderful lore-wise, because the Metroid itself is a little pupa, or not even a pupa, but like a larva stage of like this awesome predator, and everyone's like, oh, the Metroid is this great predator. All it is this little octopus that comes and like hooks onto things, but it actually grows into like this gigantic awesome, actual.
Yeah, and the 3DS Samus Returns does a good job of.
I think that's good. I think it's good to see. Sure. I think that Metroid is just underserved as far as lore goes, so I like to see when they do dig into that. So the game library, really quickly, I'll just run through it really fast. Tetris, of the forthcoming Tetris movie, which we'll talk about in the speed run.
Yeah, they made this game based off of that movie, right?
Yeah, that's right. So this is the game of the movie, Tetris.
Yeah, cool.
And very, very true to the movie.
Great movie tie-in. I think they timed this release with that movie.
It was really well done. The marketing's really good on it. Super Mario Land 2, 6 Golden Coins, which I think
I beat this game recently.
It's really pretty good.
I played through it on the 2DS. Like, it was awesome.
Yeah, and especially when you consider the because the original Super Mario Land, we all like it, but it's not great.
Like, I also beat that. I also beat that recently.
And you can beat that. You can beat that in about 15 minutes. That game.
Yeah, it's actually pretty short.
Yeah, but Super Mario Land 2 is
pretty
really
good.
cool.
It actually does some unique things. Super Mario Land, the original.
Yeah, I mean, as far as like jumping on things and kind of having different.
It's kind of like the side-scrolling, like shoot 'em up stuff too.
Yeah, where you get in a submarine and things like that, and it's fine. It's all right. But I actually really like Super Mario Land 2.
Yeah, it's good.
It gets more into kind of like Mario 3, kind of like you get different abilities and hats and things like that, and a little map that you can go around on, and they're weirdly themed and stuff. They still kind of have that. This game.
You can also play them in any order, like the different worlds. I think, right?
That's true. Yep. You can. You have a lot more freedom to do that stuff. So that's good, and that was one of the ones that I covered on one of our previous shows. If you can find our back catalog somewhere on the internet, go.
You can't
go hear me talk about that. No, I'll start digging into putting some of our old episodes.
I know we got to work on that still.
Yeah, we'll get everybody to pitch in a little bit. The Legend of Zelda: Link's Awakening is an excellent Link's Awakening DX. I guess that means it's the
Game Boy Color version.
Game Boy Color version, and that is really wonderful. Again, really good music, very sort of proto Link's or Link to the Past kind of proto Super NES. But also really cute and good.
Yeah, it came out after Link to the Past, right? Like right after.
Yeah, but I would say technology-wise and sort of concept-wise, I would say it's sort of in between the original NES game and A Link to the Past. I would say it's kind of
I can agree with that.
Yeah. Gargoyle's Quest, which is you play as the villain from Ghosts and Goblins. I can't think of his name off the top. Firebrand, I think is his name, and you can float around. And back in the day when flying was cool in a side scroll, and you're like, oh, dude, this guy can fly. And it's kind of unforgiving, but it's all right. Game & Watch is just a bunch of little simple games. It's not really worth it. Alone in the Dark, The New Nightmare. I've never played this. I'm kind of surprised that Alone in the Dark was one of the games they decided to bring with the initial outing on this. But Alone in the Dark, The New Nightmare. It is almost like an adventure game, like a point-and-click adventure almost. Like your character, Edward Carnby, goes to an island, and the backgrounds are really muddy. It's kind of hard to see, but it's better than it would have been on the original Game Boy. I can tell you that much. You manage a little inventory. You have guns, and whenever you get into a fight, it goes into like a sort of an Oregon Trail style. Like your guy kind of walks, and you can shoot, cows and things and get
cool.
Maybe not that much, but it kind of goes into that sort of thing, and it's pretty all right. I've gone back into some of these old kind of crummy games before, and I think it sort of qualifies for that. Metroid 2, we've already talked about, like LeGrand was talking about. Wario Land 3, I don't really dig the Wario Land games that much. They're sort of side scrollers, and you play as Wario, which is fine. In this one, his main attack. Here's the other thing about this is you've only got 2 buttons. You don't even have shoulder buttons on the original Game Boy, right? So this one is like start and select. So you actually use the start and select buttons, and then you've got A and B. And Wario's B attack or whatever is like a shoulder rush or something. And so you crush blocks and sometimes hit enemies and stuff, but maybe they sometimes hit you. They kind of try and do some cute little things with it, but I just don't dig it. And then the same thing for Kirby's Dream Land, which is the original. In fact, I think no, because there was Kirby on the SNES, I guess. But this is a very.
What came first, though?
I want to say the SNES one did, but for a hot second, I was thinking it was this.
I think it might be this actually.
Yeah. So this is
Kirby's Dream Land was first.
Is that it? So you basically, suck in enemies, and then you can either shoot them back as little stars or absorb some of their powers. And it's fine. I have never really liked Kirby, but it is.
I also am unapologetically a Kirby hater for the most part.
I've
only played one Kirby game ever, and it was Kirby's Epic Yarn.
And they're all kind of like that. Epic Yarn actually is not bad. Or what was the one on the DS? Kirby. What was the one where you would draw? It was like a pinball sort of thing.
Oh yeah. Rainbow Road, Rainbow Star, Star World,
something.
I gotta look it up.
Yeah, whatever it was a good one.
Nobody knows.
It was good at the time. People talked about it a lot. So anyway, those are the games on the Game Boy library. I tried them all. That's probably what you'll do too. So hopefully I've saved you a little bit of time. You'll do what we always do, which is to dig in to play each game for 5 to 10 minutes and then decide that you've got better ways to spend your time. But
they are coming out with, I think that some of these games, I mean, I've kind of gone through a weird retro renaissance of sorts over the last little while. And like I said, I'm in the middle of playing Spirit Tracks on the DS, right? And I played through Super Mario Land 2, Super Mario Land 1. I played through. One game that's missing from here that will come eventually is Donkey Kong Game Boy. Donkey Kong on the Game Boy is amazing, like absolutely incredible. Where
they do Donkey Kong Country, but on
no. This is Donkey Kong. This is Donkey Kong original. You know, so original Donkey Kong on the Nintendo, you had those 4 boards. It was basically a recreation of the arcade game. And this game starts out with that, where you have, you play the 4 levels or 3 levels,
and elevators,
and Donkey Kong falls down, and then suddenly the game opens up, and there's about 95 other levels. I'm not kidding. And you kind of go through these different worlds, and there's different abilities you unlock, and he can like swing on wires and do a bunch of weird stuff, and it is really, really, really good. And when that game should have come to this, because it's incredible. Like
maybe instead of Alone in the Dark or something.
It is very good. Like I've legit continued to play it since I installed it legally. Of course.
Sure. Yeah.
On my 2DS, I ripped my ROM. I have one of those ROM rippers, whatever they call them, and I ripped my own ROM, put it on my 2DS to play this, and it's really, really good. So.
Well, I think other than that,
any other Game Boy games? Like, let's just talk about Game Boy for a second. Like, I never had a Game Boy. I borrowed my friend's Game Boy and I played Tetris on it, and he had a Ninja Turtles game. I never really played Game Boy games.
Yeah, there's like later. The original Pokemon. There are what's the Final Fantasy Mystic Quest.
There's Zelda games. So there's like 3 Zelda games: Oracle of Seasons and Oracle of Ages.
Yeah, that's right.
I think they announced they're coming as well.
Yeah, that's right. There's probably a bunch of Namco things. I mean, you're looking at like your Dig Dugs and things like that. But I didn't really have my own game budget in 1989,
right?
So we weren't buying a lot of those games. But
that's probably why I never had a Game Boy either.
Yeah. But trying to think, Game & Watch games they had on there.
I'm going to an article here. Mario Land 2, Final Fantasy Adventure, Pokemon, Wario Land, Donkey Kong, number 3 on this list. 101 stages in Donkey Kong on the Game Boy. It's very, very good.
Not bad. That's not bad. I think the original Overwatch on Game Boy. No. But I do think that this is the way to try it out and to see what these games were like. It's better than getting the hardware. I think this is better than actually having a Game Boy.
I would agree.
So all you had to do is to wait, 30 years, and finally your time is now.
Or emulate it on the DS. Like, it's amazing. Emulation is really good.
Yeah, the DS and even the eShop, I guess they're closing or have closed. Does the 3DS eShop closes next
month? It closes next month sometime.
Next month, yeah. So you can still get some of these without having to have the subscription. But anyway, it's a great way to just kind of sample it, try it out. So that's what I played this week was Game Boy stuff on the Nintendo Switch.
Nice.
Super exciting.
I've got some new releases here, courtesy of tech-gaming.com. The PSVR 2 is out, friends. And according to reports, it's very good. Fidelity is really good. It's comfortable to wear and pretty awesome. But it only costs $500.
Yeah.
Anyway, pack-in game though. Horizon Call of the Mountain comes with it, so at least you don't have to buy a game to play. So that's nice.
Yeah.
And
but other than that, as far as I understand, the software is all just ports from.
Yeah, a lot of ports. I did find in the list here Fantavision. Remember the Fantavision on PS2?
Oh wow. Yeah.
Fantavision 2020X. Is out on VR. Resident Evil Village also, so that got its patch. So if you own Resident Evil Village on the PS5, which I do, you get a free VR patch and you can play it in VR, which would be
that's cool,
pretty awesome to play that game in VR. Also on our list here we have Atomic Hearts. This is a game that is going to be on Game Pass. It's a first-person shooter. Looks pretty cool. Got some robot-y stuff going on there. Wild Hearts. I put that on there because there's another game with hearts in it.
I want to say I feel like I've seen this one as like a survival kind of game, like almost a Monster Hunter, a semi-serious kind of survival game. People
yeah, it does look like that. Hey, Monster Hunter's pretty good, so hopefully someone can bring something new to it. That'd be nice. Yep. Theater Rhythm, Final Bar Line. This is a game that was a DS game originally. Theater Rhythm.
Yeah,
Wait,
it was
3DS?
real good too. Yeah,
Regular
well,
DS.
yeah, 3DS it was.
Okay.
And it had like a touchscreen thing, so part of the note track was that you'd kind of follow with the stylus and stuff. But this apparently, as I understand, is only buttons. And the demo for this is generous with 30 full tracks, and the final game is like 180. Some crazy number of
wow
Final Fantasy music from across the whole series and outside of Final Fantasy. So it's like Square,
Kingdom Hearts stuff, Dragon Quest stuff, maybe.
Yep.
Cool. Metroid Prime Remastered also came out, so this is a up-res. I think they retextured some of the stuff as well as
it looks awesome. Like to see people screenshots of it, it looks awesome, and twin stick support. So
yes,
the original was just a single.
Yes, you can actually emulate Metroid Prime with mouse and keyboard support. Did you know that?
Oh, no, but
the original.
What I really want is the gestural support. I want the Wii trilogy, the Metroid Prime trilogy with the pointer, because that's what sold me on playing first-person shooters with gestural controls. So
was Metroid Prime 3 Corruption?
Metroid Prime
or the trilogy?
Just the trilogy. It was the same control scheme in all the games.
Yeah. Hogwarts Legacy, we mentioned that already. Also, Returnal is out on PC, and I would love to play that game with the mouse and keyboard.
Returnal is
not enough to buy it. Not enough to buy it again, because I've already basically played through the whole game on PlayStation.
Yeah,
but that game would be really cool to play on the mouse and keyboard.
That's right.
We also have some new games coming to PlayStation Plus. My patience has paid off. We are now we have Horizon Forbidden West.
Nice.
Available, I think tomorrow is when it comes. So that is coming out. The Quarry, which was also a pretty big game from last year. This is the game by the dudes that did what is that game called? These are like adventure games.
Oh,
damn it! What is it called?
Was it the Lost in Space or Outer?
I gotta look it up now.
World?
Keep saying things. I'm gonna figure it out.
I'm trying to think of who did all the serious things, like Black.
These are like the Man of Medan, like all those ones. Dark Pictures guys. Also a game called Until Dawn. That's the one I was looking for.
Yeah. Okay. Got it.
They also did Little Big Planet on the PlayStation Vita.
That's weird.
Yeah, it is very weird.
Borderlands 3's on here. Tekken 7, Ace Combat. I haven't played an Ace Combat game in a long time.
Yeah, there you go.
Lost Sphere, which I think was some RPG with some chops, something like that.
Yeah. So a handful of games coming there as well. There's a bunch of PS1 classics. Legend of Dragoon. I think that was already on there. Wild Arms 2. Wild Arms was good games. Also, it's the PlayStation 4 version of Destroy All Humans, which I think was just been remade recently, is also available.
Yep, they did.
And that's basically all the things coming out.
Good.
Yep.
Well, in the news this week, one of the things that kind of caused a little bit of a stir out on social media was, we've talked about this on this show before, but we actually have some word now from Microsoft about the kind of the ecology of Xbox Game Pass and how it sort of is both a boon and a detraction for game developers who according to Phil Spencer, says that, well, I guess I would say statements that Microsoft has made to UK regulators in an attempt to save its proposed acquisition of Activision Blizzard, says that actually that the sales of those games the presence of games on Game Pass do cannibalize or show a percentage of decline in base game sales 12 months after the addition of that game to Game Pass. So basically what's happening is that by putting your game on Game Pass, people are not buying your game.
Weird. That's weird.
But the thing is, though, that in the past, Phil Spencer in 2018, for example, said that having games in Game Pass actually lead to more sales of the game. Now, in this case, he was citing Forza games, which I think once they get onto that service, they never really come off of it. But there are some kind of counterpoints to this cannibalization theme in that it allows games to get some buzz, some visibility that they maybe would not otherwise have had by being on that service, and for being a low bar to actually try them out, because prior to Game Pass, you would either be waiting for something to go on a deep sale if you were maybe not sure about it, or what, but in this case, Game Pass actually does also allow games to be tested out, to be tried out. So kind of as this has been kind of worked through with Microsoft, it seems to be kind of a mixy sort of situation where there are benefits that may not necessarily be sales benefits or sell-through benefits, but they do allow, for example, players to get deeper into franchises. For for example, Yakuza is one of those that we've actually talked about on this show, which people have kind of allowed the series to kind of pass by, but you can actually go back once the publisher decides, Sega in this case, decides they want to put them on there. Bethesda also has a lot of back catalog series on there as well. And so what, for example, Pete Hines, or rather Matt Persey, who was the director of business for Game Pass in 2018, said that on average they would see a 25% increase in franchise pre-orders. So the next game coming out in a series, because people had the opportunity to play the back catalog and then get excited for something new that's coming out. So it allows people to kind of go back to things that they would have missed and to become excited about further developments in those franchises. So I think what maybe, and LeGrand, you might have some thoughts on this, is that it's not necessarily just that, well, people are going to try your game on Game Pass, so they're not going to buy it. They may not have been going to buy it anyway, and potentially there are a kind of a branching set of benefits that you might get from having your game on Game Pass that may not directly be related to sell-through numbers, but still have some benefit. What do you think?
The majority of the games on my Game Pass install right now that are installed, I would never have bought.
Yeah,
I would never buy. But
you've played them now.
But I've played them now, and I think that I think it's obvious that people aren't going to buy games if they're on Game Pass. I would be more curious to understand if, like, for example, Horizon Forbidden West. I held out hoping that game would come to PlayStation Plus Extra. And I think how many times do we say we're hyped but wait for Game Pass, or hyped but wait for PlayStation Plus? Like, I'm excited for a game, but it's not a game that maybe I'm super. Well, let's be honest. Like, we're all old men here.
Yeah, right.
And we don't have all the gaming time in the world like we did when we were in our 20s as teenagers. And so we can't play every game that comes out. And we also were more sensitive with our money, so we don't want to just buy games to not play them. Like, I used to be way crazy into Steam sales and just buy all the games that are on sale. I don't do that anymore.
I haven't bought from Steam in years.
Right. And so I'm curious as to know if the fact that Game Pass exists, if that has problems with single player game sales in general. Like, multiplayer games, I could see about people wanting to get in early if it's a multiplayer focused game, because that's when most people are playing, et cetera, et cetera. But for single player games, like, there's no reason. Like, all these games on my list that are installed right now, like Vampire, Warhammer, Darktide, I wouldn't have bought those games. Proteus, Opus Magnum, even Monster Hunter Rise has been out for PC and Switch for 2 years, and I haven't bought them yet. Now I'm playing the crap out of Monster Hunter Rise still. Dyson Sphere Program, Citizen Sleeper, which I actually finished and really enjoyed. But even looking back, like, would have I bought that game? Even knowing what I know now, how much I actually kind of enjoyed it?
Right.
Probably not, because there's so many other games to play. It's just the fact that being on Game Pass, I was able to try it out and then liked it and then played it. But if I had to choose between playing the game, if I had to know that I had to pay $20 or whatever to have that experience, I don't think I would have done it. There's just too many other games to play. Yeah. So it's just, Game Pass is just such a weird thing. I think we don't really know the ultimate effect of Game Pass. I think we're going to know that for a while longer still.
Well, the other thing that is kind of interesting is that it takes the money. Here's a metaphor that may or may not play out, so forgive me if this is a little bit weird, but I've heard it said that when you talk about the environment and being good for the environment, that the secret is not that you convince 130 million people to go out and buy electric cars. What you do is you try and systematize the infrastructure. So you try to deal with coal power plants or whatever, and then what you do is everybody who is buying into that system, you basically are then able to address environmental concerns from the bottleneck. You can actually say, okay, we're going to deal with it on the back end. Everybody just buy your cars and drive them and whatever. And then that way you don't have to evangelize every single person and convince them. You just do what you can through that back end. I want to say that in the same way, it seems like the interesting thing is that the money that would normally have been, instead of evangelizing all of the people to go and buy your game or to do great marketing for that game, it filters into Microsoft, and then Microsoft is able to make those deals with those developers on the back end. So what you end up with, and I think this is kind of borne out in the discussion that has been swirling around Game Pass, is that you may hypothetically be giving up some unit sales, but you are ending up with a more stable deal overall because it's being done through the platform holder.
You have a guaranteed
right
amount that you're going to make. Like I would imagine that with all the bajillions of indie games that are on Steam, that every single one of those would take a Game Pass deal in a second, just because it would guarantee them sales, right? Not sales, but it would guarantee them income,
visibility, and all of that. And a deal with Microsoft.
And even if the the Game Pass is an exclusive to a year or whatever it is, then or it's on Game Pass for a year and it goes off and
that's more of a guarantee than you have when you're trying to market it directly.
Exactly. And with the amount of games that come out, every day it seems on Steam, there's more games that are on Steam. Like there's no guarantee for any of those guys.
Yeah.
There's no guarantee. It's only when something really takes off or the media or some streamer comes across Vampire Survivors and starts playing it, right? That's what really helps it. And eventually Vampire Survivors came to Game Pass, but would have it before? Like probably not, because nobody knew about it.
Yeah, that's interesting. That's an interesting thought. Is that Microsoft has to make these deals with it's sort of picking the winners, so to speak.
Yeah, the dude that made Vampire Survivors is the ultimate winner, because he made $1 bajillion selling it for $3 a piece on Steam, and then he got the Game Pass. And now it's on Xbox, and now it's on mobile, and now it's on whatever. And
I was playing that on mobile just today.
There you go. Yeah, see.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. Game Pass is interesting, man. I have it for another 2.5 years, and
mine expired this week, and I think I'm going to see if I can find one of those Turkish VPN deals to get my 3 years again.
Have they done that? Have they got rid of that completely? Then do we know?
I don't think so. It's, at least as of a month or so ago, you.
You can't buy games with gold. You can't buy Xbox Gold anymore. Is that the deal?
I think that only works if you haven't done it. I'm going to check it out.
No, I did it, dude. I did it.
Really?
Again,
there's people on the internet who know, but I'll have to.
I got 3 years again for the price of 3 years of Xbox Live Gold. Really? I paid $1.
Maybe I'll try that. I'll have to look it out. But as of like yesterday, I'm expired, so I need to figure something out. But it is just kind of interesting in light of this discussion, like, oh, it's cannibalizing sales. And I think that the internet kind of was quick to be like, oh, of course it was. But I as we've kind of even just in a few minutes working through it, I think there's a deeper discussion to have there, and it's full of question marks that nobody really knows. But Microsoft seems happy about it. It's
you look at the list. I'm gonna look at the list right now, and I'll tell you, like every time you can go onto your Game Pass app, and I can click on Game Pass.
I just go to xbox.com/play.
And I go to leaving soon. So here's the games that are leaving soon right now. There's Madden NFL 21. That's because 22's on there now.
Right.
Crown, but that's part of EA Play. Crown Trick. Alien Isolation is leaving March 1st. Dragon Ball Fighter Z is leaving. Lightning Returns Final Fantasy 13, Octopath Traveler. So those are the games that are listed here that are leaving whatever. So before they leave, you can buy them at like a 20% discount. So the real question would be, how many people are buying
them on the way
Dragon Ball Fighter Z because they played it on Game Pass, got way into it, now it's leaving, and if they want to keep playing it, they got to buy it somewhere. So now they're buying it to keep playing it. Like I would imagine that there is a percentage of people that are doing that. I don't know if it's big, I don't know if it's small, but cannibalizing initial game sales, I can say probably. But even then, like Halo Infinite, like sold like crazy on Steam. It was free on Game Pass, right?
Huh? I did not know that.
It was like one of the top selling games for that month on Steam. But anyway, so yeah, I think we'll know. Like someday, somebody will do a documentary on Xbox Game Pass, and we'll find out.
Yeah. I need to remember to talk. Maybe next episode I'll talk about the book I'm reading. I'm getting the volume 2 of the Ultimate History of Video Games. It's been pretty interesting.
Oh, cool.
Let's see. Tetris. We were talking about this a little bit earlier. Just want to mention Tetris has a movie trailer. This is the story of the falling blocks. No, actually, it's the story of Hank. Is it Williams? Is that his name? Or Hank Rogers? I think is his name. Hank Rogers. Yeah. Who basically went behind the Iron Curtain to go get a deal with Alexei Pajitnov, and actually not even Alexei Pajitnov, but the Russian government, the Soviet government, to bring Tetris, developed by Alexei Pajitnov, to the West and to the world, and to put it on the Game Boy. And it's fine. Like, the trailer looks cool. Everybody seems like they're like 25-year-old like action stars and stuff. So I'm like, I don't know, come on. But right at the end of the trailer, there's a guy who looks exactly like Hiroshi Yamauchi, and I'm like, wow. So I don't know how sensational the movie is going to be. It does look interesting, and as I understand it, the story of Hank Rogers going to Russia to do this deal is actually really pretty interesting.
Oh, so that's what this movie's about.
Yes.
Oh, well, that makes it way cool then.
No, it's actually a really cool story from what I understand.
I literally thought it was like, you know,
like no. Like the Pac-Man or whatever the Pixels was.
That, I thought it was something dumb. If it's really about that, then I'm all.
No, this is cool. But there's like car chases and stuff, and I'm like, really? Like, I would almost rather have just a straight up documentary, but that's never going to be a feature film. So. Whatever.
Well, Apple TV does a pretty good job. They have actually quite a bit of really good content, so I'm hopeful this will actually be pretty good.
It actually seems like it could be pretty good. It takes the subject matter seriously, which is what I really like. So look for that on Apple TV coming in the near future.
I think it's March 31st.
We should have a Tetris movie party.
You want to? I'll have Apple. I think I'm gonna have Apple TV Plus. I think I'm gonna watch. A friend of mine referred to me a show called Shrinking. It's on Apple TV Plus. It's got Harrison Ford's in it. It's a movie about a relationship therapist dude.
Like a therapist, yeah.
And it's really, I'll have to send you the clip that he sent me. And he's like, this is the clip that convinced me to watch this show. And then I watched the pilot, and it's actually really good. So I think I might subscribe to this to watch that. My wife also asked the other day about it. But anyway, point being, you could come over to my house and we'll watch Tetris together on March 31st. How's that sound?
Nice. I will do it.
Okay. Perfect.
Guys, that is going to do it for all the news that we've got this week, but we're going to round out the show with a news speed run. Start some of that music. Dale? Jared? Someone?
Okay, Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom is going to cost $70. I guess that's a thing that came out of the direct that we didn't report on, which is fine.
Yeah, they and it was on the website. It sort of came out ahead of direct because it was on their pre-order page. And I guess if you're going to do it, this is the game that you're going to get away with it. And they're totally going to get away with it. So, yeah,
that's fine.
Only got yourself to blame. In other Legend of Zelda news, a Legend of Zelda Lego set is as good as confirmed when Nintendo has started issuing takedowns to speculation on this unannounced Legend of Zelda Lego. And of course, there's already Super Mario, so this is the next shoe to drop.
Cool. Ubisoft is going to be at E3 with a, quote, strong lineup.
So far, they're the only ones.
So Assassin's Creed headlining E3 this year.
Yeah, exactly right. Embracer, the company that owns everything, has released their fiscal report for 2023, and they have indicated that in their report that there are 5, not 4, not 6, 5 Lord of the Rings games that are coming out in the next year, this fiscal year, and they bought the rights just like.
They own all of Lord of the Rings, right?
Yep, that's exactly right. And
what are these games? What games are coming out? Let's speculate.
Don't know.
Let's speculate. Mobile game.
I would like to see. So they'll probably.
Is there a mobile game coming out?
Yeah, they've got to be doing a mobile game. That's got to be the easy, like the low barrier to entry is to do a mobile game. I would like to see a strategy game again. I would like to see either a turn-based or a real-time strategy game based on Middle Earth. Something a la the Battle for Middle Earth, which is one of my favorite RTS games ever.
Okay.
They could revisit. I mean, honestly, if they just go back to the games that had been released, like the brawler games, the Two Towers and Return of the King, fighting, upgrade your fighty kind of games, like that would be pretty all right. I'd like to see that. Maybe a dating sim based on the Lord of the Rings Ring of Power.
What about a kart racer?
Lord of the Rings karts, absolutely. Okay. I mean, they've got a lot of race through Hobbiton, race through Mordor. Race around Barad-dûr.
All of the tracks basically make themselves at this point.
They could do it like Split Second. Remember Split Second, the game that Blackrock, and like stuff would fall, like race around Barad-dûr and have the tower fall like right. At the
cool.
End yeah, there you go.
And you can do stuff and it changes everything. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. I'm on board.
Nice.
The development of Psychonauts 2 has been chronicled in a 32 episode YouTube documentary.
Wow.
I'm not that interested in Psychonauts 2 to be able
I
to
kind of
that.
am, but I got to put it behind my Kratos, raising Kratos. I still have to, it's behind the queue in my documentary.
Yeah, you need to watch that.
I do want to, and I'm making good progress in God of War Ragnarok. And that game is still so big. Like, I keep thinking like, oh, they've shown me everything there is to see, but they just keep adding more. Like, I unlocked a total new realm. It's completely random. I did a side quest and it opened up a new realm with a whole bunch of new side quests. I'm like in the middle of this side quest. I bet I'm up to 30 hours by now.
Okay.
Because I've been doing a lot of side quests, and I was in the middle of this side quest, and then there are more side quest people in this new realm, and I'm like, guys, I like side quests, but I'm not going to put side quests in my side quests so I can side quest my side quest.
Yeah, don't do that.
No, I'm not going to do that. Street Fighter 6, which is yet to be released, coming out soon, but Capcom has said that there will be a $1 million prize for the winner of the Street Fighter 6 tournament in their Capcom Cup 10, their Pro League tournament thing that I guess they've been doing 10 years. So,
but that's not the Evo tournament, right? That's
no, it's not. It's a separate thing that they're doing. I mean, it could be in conjunction with, but it's definitely its own thing.
Okay, cool. Diablo 4 open beta is confirmed, is coming out next month. There's an open beta. There's also a early access for people who have pre-ordered. Then there's an open beta. So open beta or early access to the open beta March 17th through 19th. And then the open beta is March 24th to the 26th. It's going to be on PS4, PS5, Windows, Xbox One, and Xbox X.
And I think you said it gets you through the whole first chapter.
Yeah, so level cap at level 25, but it will be the full Act 1 story, which is pretty cool. So yeah, I guess that the progress will not carry over to the full game, which is whatever.
Got it.
Not that that matters in Diablo.
I might do this and then not. I'll be hype on the demo, but not buy on the regular game.
I already got it. I'm playing it for sure.
Nice. Firaxis, the strategy game company, has lost 2 key leaders as the studio head, Steve Martin, not that Steve Martin, and the XCOM director, Jake Solomon, have both left the company. This kind of goes on the tail of reports that Marvel Midnight Suns is maybe, I don't know that I would say flop, but apparently it has not performed according to expectations at 2K and at Firaxis.
Well, whatever. Civilization 7 is apparently in development, also according to Firaxis.
Nice. Gary Whitta, the writer, says that he had written the original pitch for Spoken, the Square Enix game that is, I guess, kind of been lambasted for dialogue and just for kind of being, I guess, weird and awkward. He said he wrote the original pitch and the story narrative for Forspoken, and it is not at all present in the retail release. So, kind of interesting.
He's kind of making a "told you so"
maybe a little bit. I mean,
seems like a little bit.
Maybe they didn't even tell him, so I could see him just being like, "Yeah, that was not what I wrote." That's kind of interesting.
Maybe if he would have used what I wrote, it would have been received better. Is what he's trying to say.
That's probably it.
Yeah. The game Multiverses, the WB game with like Adventure Time people in it, apparently has lost 99% of its player base. It's been out 6 months. Well, yeah, duh. Like, I don't think anyone's playing this game long term.
Yeah, I always found it to be just an interesting oddity to see how WB was gonna. I mean, you know what? This would have been a great time to release some Harry Potter content, and get some.
Oh, dude, yeah, they should have done that.
Get some Wizarding World, get a, I don't know, bartender with a pronounced.
Well, that's the thing is like Smash Brothers stayed relevant by continually releasing new characters all the time. Like there's a dedicated hardcore fan base of Super Smash Brothers, but they also continue to add new characters to bring those
and they would do Cloud
normal players,
and Ryu from Street Fighter, Hot Ryu with his hot dad beard, all of that. So
that's right.
I don't know. We'll see. Maybe they can bring it back. Maybe they'll announce. I don't know. What's a WB franchise? Maybe they could do. I don't know.
Nobody knows.
Alex Rogan from The Last Starfighter.
Matrix.
The Matrix. Yes, they absolutely need to do that. I will play that game. I will become the new Multiverses master if they bring Neo in. And then finally, Microsoft, it has been revealed, actually developed an artificial intelligence in this era of discussing artificial intelligence, arts and chatbots and all those things. Microsoft actually developed one that would play Minecraft for you successfully and do things like tame horses and cut down trees and things like that. But they don't plan to release it, so we don't have the what are the mobile games that everybody likes? The like idle Minecraft that you just like let it play itself or whatever.
Oh yeah,
nope.
My favorite Minecraft game is just the not played Minecraft.
Yeah. I mean, you could still punch trees. Like, that's kind of fun.
No, I don't punch trees. That's my rule. You remember? Like, I don't.
Yeah.
I don't play survival games because I hate punching trees.
I'm with you. Guys, that is going to do it for this episode of your Game Bytes Show podcast. I want to thank you for making it to the end with us. If you have any thoughts about any of the games we've been playing, Hogwarts, Game Boy games, if you have a hot take on a Game Boy game and you just got to get it out, let us know all about that. You can find us on social media wherever, but I don't know, maybe we're going to stop talking about social media. Just come to Discord. Come find us over at GameBytesShow.com, which forwards to our Podbean landing page, where you can hear our podcast on all sorts of different services. We're on Spotify and Amazon Music and all kinds of things. So come join us there. Come join our open invite to our Discord server and actually hang out with us and interact with us. And that's where you can find us these days. So I guess that means that we can't really announce our own selves, but I'm Jeremy. Legrand is Legrand. For our absent hosts, Dale, Count Elder Jones is on there. Jared What I Done is on there. And a whole rogues gallery of hangers-on and friends that we like to hang out with and share memes and freebies and all kinds of things. You can also find us over at youtube.com/GameBytesShow. We are there. See us live. I've tried to do Jared's chat thing, so hopefully there's like little, I don't know, timestamps for when we started talking about things. I don't know how that stuff works.
And you did? You tried to do that?
I tried to. I mean, I don't know if it actually does anything, but Jared did it, and I'm trying to, I don't know. He didn't bother to be here today, so he didn't tell me how it works, but I just chatted in there. So find us at GameByteShow.com, find us on our Discord server, find us on YouTube. Those are the best places to find us. And guys, we'll be back next week to do all of this stuff again to keep you informed, entertained, and edified about news and video games and all of that stuff. Until then, this has been your Game Bytes Show podcast. Thank you so much for joining us, and we will see you next time.
See ya.
Bye.
Bow, bow.
Wow. Yeah, I got to figure out the flow if we're not going to do, because I think it's probably time to, who cares about social media? But I got to figure out how to actually run that out.
Harry Potter wizard from Hogwarts in the style of Game Boy.
Oh, dude, what if this is cool?
Pixel art. I'm imagining this right now. Harry Potter wizard from Hogwarts in the style of Game Boy pixel art, green and black. In the style of green and black.
You could do like with a medieval castle, like you want Hogwarts, you want like a wizard school in the background.
With a Hogwarts castle wizard school in the background. The wizard has a wand, a cloak.
We're still streaming, by the way.
I don't care. And a wand, a cloak, and a wizard hat. He has many friends and has been on many adventures.
Irrelevant information.
Doesn't matter.
Oh man.
Okay, here we go. Let's go. Let's go.
I gotta tune in here. Where's there it is.
How come I'm not streaming this? It should be. Oh, it is streaming. Cool.
It is. Yeah, you got it on there.
Here we go. I'm gonna move this over so people can see it better.
Okay.
Oh shit! Here it comes.
Oh, it's not green enough. You need it to be monochrome.
Oh man. Okay. Here we go.
It needs to be a child, wizard child, because if you have a wizard, he's got a beard.
Oh yeah. Wizard student.
Yeah, student or teenager. Look, I like the background of the. Actually, all of them kind of have a little bit of a retro vibe. You can work with that.
All right, we're gonna do this again. We're gonna copy. We're gonna say student though. Okay.
You should actually do like young wizard, young teenage magic student or something.
A young teenage student wizard from Hogwarts in the monochrome. Actually, we're gonna do
low res.
In the
monochrome green, low res.
Pixel art style. There's a castle in the background. That worked.
Yeah.
With a Hogwarts castle wizard school In the background, wizard has a wand, a cloak, and a wizard hat. He has many friends, has been on many adventures, and his demeanor and facial, I don't know if I spelled demeanor right, expressions. Oh, I did. Show this. I wish I could be a wizard one day, Harry.
You're going to confuse it.
I don't care. Oh, I did /image.
Oh, no.
Damn it. All right, we'll fix this. Let's see. Delete. Slash. Okay, here we go. Here we go.
Come on, baby. Give me that monochrome green pixel.
Okay, here it comes.
Waiting to start.
Oh, shit. Not monochrome.
No.
Doesn't look like it. Okay.
I like the one down in the bottom right. He's looking. I do like that guy. He's my favorite. I hope he's got like a little angry face.
I know he's been on many adventures, and his demeanor and facial expressions show this. That's that guy in the bottom right, dude, for sure.
You know, he ended up a little like he's missing a chromosome. But
hey, just so our YouTube watchers know this, like this is how we make our album art now.
Yeah, this is our new thing. Where like it doesn't have to look like it, but we just like the idea that it would mix all of our dumb ideas into one thing. I do kind of like that guy down there.
Yeah, he's pretty cool. That dude down there is pretty all right.
You can do variations on that and see if it.
Oh yeah, let's do that.
Do V4.
Beep. I'm gonna have to end up paying for this because I probably used up all my credits.
Really?
Yeah. Okay.
It's it's looking a little more monochromy. Like, notice how the castle's different from how it was before.
Yeah. Well, it took the green and made the hat. I guess it's kind of got the monochrome background too.
Yeah, I think it looks more Game Boy-y than it did on any of them in the past.
I wonder if there's a way. I'm gonna Google this. Let's see. Midjourney.
I think you can feed images into it.
You can. Midjourney AI Game Boy pixel art. Let's see if somebody's done it before with like the prompts. Let's see. Oh, that's pretty cool looking. Oh, here we go. Maybe not. How about we do this? Harry Potter wizard in the style of The Legend of Zelda pixel art. Young. We're going to include the castle. Oh, shoot. I'm going to try one more. All right.
Wow, that just went straight for Harry Potter, didn't it?
Yeah, I just said young Harry Potter wizard.
Oh. Huh. Maybe that. I mean, I think of those, like, as far as what looks, I kind of like the one up on the top left, even though he's got that messed up face.
Yeah, the upper right one looks like a Dragon Quest character.
Yeah, it kind of does, doesn't it?
Yeah. The hair and the face.
Big anime hair.
The face looks like a Dragon Quest character.
Yeah,
top
that
right
Akira
one does.
Toriyama.
Yeah. Let's see.
Well, I'll let you pick. You're making some good headway.
I'm gonna do one more. I'm gonna copy this. Clean pixel art. Young teenage student wizard with a Hogwarts castle in the background. Style of Castlevania 1986. I found there's like a website that's like, here's a bunch of cool prompts and here's what they did for us. And so I took this one, clean pixel art, style of Castlevania, and it came up with something pretty cool. This is kind of cool.
Oh. Those are cool, actually.
Yeah. Definitely looks like Castlevania.
That one at the bottom left actually genuinely looks badass.
Yeah, I agree. Let's see if there's anything else over here. Papercraft. Oh shit, look at this. Let's see. Young teenage wizard. Pixel art. Style of Legend of Zelda 2 Link's Awakening 1988. Oh, my free trial has come to an end.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I can't do anymore. That's it. See you, friends.